The opinions expressed on this program represent the viewpoints of individual authors or contributors and do not necessarily reflect those of Troy University. This is Alabama Politics with Steve Flowers, an in-depth interview with Alabama's top political newsmakers. Now, from the studios of Troy University, here is Steve Flowers.
I'm Steve Flowers, and welcome to Alabama Politics. Folks, we're fortunate tonight to have as our guest one of my favorite folks in Alabama politics, Jay Mitchell, former state Supreme Court Justice and leading candidate for Attorney General, and he's running for Attorney General of Alabama this time. Folks, the primary is right around the corner, May of 2026, so we're glad to have Jay on out of a busy schedule be with us, and thank you for being on, Jay.
My pleasure. Great to be here, Steve.
Jay was on about 5 years ago, I reckon, when you were on the Supreme Court. You already elected, though, when you came on, wasn't you?
I was.
I thought so. Jay Mitchell, let's go back to your childhood and everything. You were born, but you got roots in the Wiregrass. Tell about your family background. Jimmy Baker talks about you being from your daddy being from Coffee County a lot and everything. I didn't realize that until recently. You had folks from Coffee County, but you were born in Birmingham, wasn't you?
I was born in Mobile. My parents were living down in that area when they were young marrieds, and I'm the oldest of three siblings. But we moved to the Wiregrass after that. My mom was from Geneva.
She was from Geneva.
From
That's
Geneva.
why you're good friends with those Kellys and all that.
That's right. That's right. Grew up in Geneva, and my dad was the son of a Methodist.
You still own land down there or something?
Yeah. My great-grandparents farmed down there in Geneva County in Pontown, just outside of Hartford, and the family farm's still in our family.
That's what I thought. Sorry to interrupt you, but anyway, your daddy came back to the Wiregrass because that was where they were from.
That's right.
Your mom was from Geneva County?
Mom's from Geneva. Dad.
You and Kelly Wise had a lot in common, didn't you?
That's right. We both know Geneva County.
Did you know Kelly? Y'all about the same age. She's a little older than you, though, isn't she?
A little bit. Yeah.
But you and Kelly had that in common.
We do. Did
you know her people, like all those?
A little bit.
Wise is her daddy grand uncle was Wise. It was probate judge.
And my grandparents did.
That's right.
They would have been contemporaries. Yeah. So my parents both went to Troy State, and they met there, and then got married, and so started off in the Mobile area, and then moved to Enterprise. That's where my younger brother was born. And so my dad, the Jimmy Baker connection, is this. My dad was in education starting out, and so he was the principal at Zion Chapel there in Jack.
Yeah.
We lived on a little dirt road there, and Dad was the principal there, and then got moved over to New Brockton to the intermediate school
was
over
he
there.
From Coffee County originally?
No, he was the son of a Methodist minister, so
Okay,
he grew up
moved around.
hopscotching around.
You like old Heflin.
Yeah. He graduated high school in Fort Deposit at Lowndes County High School.
You know, Jay, you got a tie there that this I didn't realize this. You know, Alabama political history has a history of Methodist ministers' sons being state leaders. Even though there are more Baptists in Alabama than Methodist, the Methodist religion has dominated Alabama politics, and so many of our people, and you've got this connection, Howell Heflin's daddy was a Methodist minister, as you know.
Yes.
And went to Birmingham Southern like you did.
Yes.
And that's why you went to Birmingham Southern.
Well, he was the U.S. Senator when I went to college there, and he was a big, towering figure to all of us on campus there in the 90s, for sure.
He really was. He was great. We all called him Judge.
Yeah.
Because like you served on the Supreme Court.
That's
you
right.
got a heck of a tie to old Heflin.
That's right.
You know, through this Birmingham Southern and Methodist minister. So your daddy's father was a Methodist minister.
That's right.
That's why Heflin would love to tell this story. His dad had been sent over. He was actually born in Georgia, and he was really embarrassed about it, being an Alabama senator. And he'd say, "Well, you know, my father was a Methodist minister. That's the reason I was born over in Georgia. He was over there trying to save the heathen over there." He would always tell that. But he loved Birmingham Southern.
Yes. Yeah. It was a great place. I was there 94 through 98, and Senator Heflin was there in the Senate. He was wrapping up his time in the Senate there.
Quit in 98.
You know, an interesting moment there, President Clinton was running for re-election.
What year would this be, 96?
This was 96. He was running against Bob Dole, and I guess Alabama was in play for the Democrats then, and Clinton came and did a rally on the quad at Birmingham Southern. And so Senator Heflin was the one who brought him to be there. and no classes that day and all that. I will tell you, you could find it in the Birmingham Southern Yearbook. I had my Dole Kemp sticker on
And the thing.
there at the rally, but Heflin brought President Clinton there to do that, and that was a big moment in college.
When did you move? When did your folks move to Homewood in Birmingham?
When I was 10,
10 years old. So
Yeah.
you graduated Homewood, Shades Valley or Homewood High School?
Homewood High School. Homewood High School.
A lot of those kids who went to Homewood, my generation, went to Shades Valley.
That's right.
There must not have been a Homewood High School then or something.
Yeah, Homewood High School came on in the 70s. In fact, first graduating class from Homewood High School is Sam Shaw, wife of Justice Greg Shaw.
Is that right?
She's a
Sam,
Home-
that's right.
That's right. She's a Homewood patriot.
I wrote a nice column about Greg and Sam. They really love that beekeeping.
Yeah.
You know, he's up for election this time.
Yes. Yeah.
But he's very shy. You know, he's not a gregarious person.
So I'll tell you, at the Alabama Supreme Court over the holidays, the justices will exchange gifts with each other. And so, everybody tries to do something a little local or something.
You give
kind of
all
from
the
your
other
home.
8 justices a gift?
That's right, and some of the staff there too. And the Shaws, I hope it's okay that I'm telling this,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they will give out honey from their bees. And it is the best honey I've ever tasted. In fact, they'd given it a couple of years, and they didn't do it one year. They didn't have enough produced, and I got home that night. My wife said, "Where's the Shaw honey?"
Oh, she was waiting for
Oh,
it?
she was waiting on it.
Oh, they gave it every year?
Yeah.
They grew it
it's-
themselves.
That's right, with their bees. Yeah, it's amazing.
He's up and Mendham's up this time.
That's right.
On the court. But back to but you came to Homewood at 10 years old, went to high school there. Would you play basketball at Homewood High School, I guess, didn't you?
I did.
But you were a center, obviously.
Yeah, I actually, it's funny. I actually played some point guard. I could handle the ball pretty well. I was pretty tall, but I'd go down low a lot of times. And then, when I graduated from Homewood, I went across town to Southern. I was a walk-on basketball player over
So
there.
you weren't scholarship?
No, I wasn't a scholarship player. I tell folks, we won the national championship my freshman year there. I tell folks I wasn't an All-American. My job was to get our All-American ready
You
to
could,
practice every week. So it's, it worked out well, and I learned a ton of great lessons.
Now,
playing that
you went to
program.
Virginia Law School?
That's right.
Virginia.
Yeah.
After Birmingham Southern.
That's right.
Must have made pretty good grades. You were president of SGA too, weren't you?
I was. Yeah,
At Birmingham Southern.
I was my senior year.
Your mama was a big fan of mine.
She was.
She passed away this year, didn't she?
She did. She passed away in April after battling ALS. But she loved Steve Flowers and Steve Flowers columns, and she'd send them to me sometimes saying, "Jay, are you paying attention to this or that?"
You know, I've been writing that column 21 years now, and to tell you how old I am, if I go to the Capitol, every state senator they don't say Flowers, I read your column. My mama reads your column, Flowers. Every one of them, starting with Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth and Greg Reed, Gudger's mama. Everybody says that my mama reads your column, and they'll preface it by saying, "Flowers, please don't write anything bad, but my mama reads your column." And that's all I care about, pleases my mama. That shows you how old I am. But I ain't older than Jabbo, who was like your leader at Birmingham Southern. I called Jabbo, I was at a birthday there, told him how old I was. He says, "There ain't nothing, I'm 88 years old." Jabbo Wagner, we're talking about Jabbo Wagner, y'all. He played Southern basketball at Southern.
So
like
Jabbo was a star at Southern. I was not a star, but we always.
He really was.
Yeah, he was a great athlete, and his sons were great athletes too. At
They sure
Vestavia
were.
and at Auburn.
Now, you got elected to the Supreme. When you got out of Virginia, you came to work for Birmingham Law Firm, didn't you?
I did.
Probably were attracted to having that Virginia law degree. Was a big one Maynard or somebody?
Yeah, it was Maynard, Cooper, and Gale. Boots Gale and
Right.
and Lee Cooper.
Boots and our old political friends.
Yeah, Boots has been around a long time.
Boots is a real Democrat, though.
That's true.
I think
That's true.
Boots
Yeah.
was liberal in college. Do you know that? He and Joe Perkins were real liberal. They were liberals in college, but Boots he never quit being a liberal. I don't think he followed it. He read my column religiously. Boots did.
I practiced there for 16 years, and then I went on the bench after that. And
What year did you go?
it was a
to the
great
bench?
experience being in the law firm there. What's
You
that?
weren't about 40 years old, were you?
Yeah, when I went on the bench, I think I was 42. I just turned 49. I think
I was thinking
42.
you were 48 or 49. You ain't even 50 years old.
Not yet.
What are you, 6'8"?
If I stand up straight, Steve, somebody gave me an extra inch in a column recently, so I'm probably more like 6'7" when I stand up straight.
I used to be
Yeah.
6'5". I'm 6'4" now. My daughter's about 10 years ago now, would have pictures made, and I said, "Dad, you're not as tall as you used to be." 'Cause my daughters are both 6 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
They take
Wow.
after me, but But anyway, so you reside in Homewood where you grew up now, don't you?
I do. I do. I met my wife Elizabeth in law school.
At Virginia?
Yeah.
Where was she from?
Well, she's from Memphis originally, but she went to Auburn. So,
out of Memphis, went to Auburn.
Memphis went to Auburn. It's funny, Steve. We figured out we'd been at some of the same events, talking to the same people over the years, and just never got introduced to each other.
When y'all met at law, when you met in law school?
We met the first day of law school.
Y'all met y'all in the same class.
First day of law school, yeah. And so we fell in love, got married during law school, moved back. Elizabeth did not enjoy law practice. She didn't practice for very long, and then we started having children. We've got 4 kids. So.
Now, how old are your children?
They are 21, 19, 17, and 15. 2 in college, 2 in high school.
Golly, you got 2 in college.
Yeah.
Where are they in school?
Our oldest daughter's at Hillsdale College in Michigan,
Yeah.
which is the alma mater of Justice Will Sellers,
is.
among other luminaries.
Great school.
And our son, Jack, is doing Army ROTC at the University of Texas at Austin.
How did you choose Texas?
He really, he just really kind of connected with it. He thought he might want to go to school in Texas and looked at some schools out
Out of
there.
Homewood High School?
Out of Homewood High School, and he's always looked up to my brother. My brother has just retired from the Army after 24 years.
Okay.
And so...
where is he located?
Well, my brother now, he finished at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. He's now a commercial pilot for American, but he flew helicopters and planes for the Army. And so our son Jack has just always looked up to Ryan, my brother, and he just said, I want to go in the Army one day. So he was thinking about West Point, trying to go for that or do ROTC, and just said, I really want to do ROTC and go from there.
Would Texas have a better ROTC program or something?
They've got a really good one. They've got a really good one.
What's he majoring in?
There's a new school there called the School of Civic Honors, and it's kind of an interdisciplinary degree, and it's a very good school and some good folks out there.
Jay, now your 2 still at Homewood High School?
I do. I've got 2 girls there. One's a junior, one's a sophomore.
So the 2 older children are boys?
Well, I got girl, boy who are in college, and then I got the 2 girls in high school. Yeah.
Now, what do you think they'll wind up doing?
I'd love for them to be nearby.
Any of them going to law school, you reckon?
I think our son Jack will want to go to law school.
Is that the one that's out of Texas?
Yeah. What he has said is he'd love to be like an Army JAG officer.
That'd be a great career.
He would love to do that. So we'll see. I mean, you never know as you get into it. Our girls, I mean, we'd love them to be. I can promise you their mama would love for them to go to Auburn. I'd love them to be nearby if they would.
Well, both of y'all being lawyers and being very literate, and girls are really more literate, those 2 may wind up going to law school.
They very well could. They very well could.
Will.
Yeah.
But back to your career, so you got out of Virginia, came back to Maynard for a few years, and then went on the Supreme Court right away.
Yeah.
So you served how many years on the Supreme Court?
6.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Just handling the biggest cases that our state has on the criminal side and on the civil side, and love my colleagues, love who I got to work with. Probably my favorite part of the job, Steve, I love handling big cases, getting my hands dirty on that, but working with my law clerks, these are sharp young people, for the most part, right out of law school, and they come and work with me for a year. I get to train them and teach them and equip them and credential them, and 3 of my law clerks ended up being picked by Justice Clarence Thomas to clerk with him on the U.S. Supreme Court.
Right?
So, I had some very talented people coming to work with me from all across the country, both Alabama and Cumberland here in Alabama, and then other places too. So that was a fun part of the job.
That Supreme Court has a real camaraderie, and y'all all had a good business record, being pro-business, but not to a point of prejudice, but I'm just saying y'all were conservative Republicans, but y'all also had a good camaraderie and a good mix, and it still does.
Yes.
Like you take Boland having that probate judge background, and Will Sellers having a tax law degree, and y'all all seem to work well together.
Really did. There's a real spirit of collegiality at the court, and a lot of that's a credit to those who've been there a while and kind of know the norms and the customs of the institution, and really they kind of help to cultivate that culture there. Mike Boland was my mentor on the court for the 4 years he and I overlapped.
He's one of my favorite people.
He's one of my favorite people too.
I have
Love
lunch
Mike.
with him and Joe Knight and Jimmy Stevens about once a month. We go to Bricktops one time and Bright Star the next. But we love to tell old stories. He had an interesting practice with that guy who was the mayor of Birmingham or something. Who was that? One of those Arthur Haynes or somebody.
Oh, yeah.
His first
Yeah,
practice
Art
was,
Haynes.
was with Art Haynes. You know that?
Yeah, I did know that.
And did domestic stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Did a lot of domestic
That's
stuff.
right, that's
Well,
right.
that's why he was a natural for the court. And then and Sellers he adds a lot to that court.
He does. He does. He's, Justice Sellers has a great tax and business law background, and has worked on corporate formations and all kinds of corporate matters. So he brings a lot of expertise to those things.
Well, Jay, you'll be a natural in that Attorney General's thing because you'll be so close to the Supreme Court and everything. Back to the Supreme Court, how do they decide in there who's going to write the opinions? Like if y'all see a high-profile case, is it come up numerically, or does it come up like you have a niche there and you ought to write this one or something like? How do y'all decide who writes the opinions? And even further than that, I know it's a different ball game, but how does the U.S. Supreme Court decide that? Like if there's a real high-profile case, do they pick is a state different than the U.S. Supreme Court, or?
Yeah, at least our state is. So in Alabama, there is a system, an assignment system called, it's called the wheel, basically, but it's administered by the clerk's office. And so it rotates among the 9 different justices. And there's a little bit of equity built in there because, let's say you're a justice and you got kind of a small case, and then I got some gargantuan case. The next time it comes around, it may sort of skip over me and go to the next guy. So they sort of build that in. And for the most part, the justice who gets the case will work the case, will get the opinion ready
By the cycle.
By the cycle. But if the justice writes up a case and it doesn't get 5 votes, and the justice is unwilling to change the opinion to get 5 votes, then the Chief Justice can reassign the case to a justice who could get 5 votes. The U.S. Supreme Court, as I understand it, I mean, I've never been back in a conference with them, but as I understand it, the Chief Justice really, they're back in a conference room and they decide, the Chief says, oh, you're going to get this one, you're going to get that one. The one exception is if the Chief is in the minority, the dissenters, then the senior most associate justice, if he or she's in the majority, they would assign.
They've already written the opinion.
Yeah.
They already have given their decision where they're going to land on the case.
Yeah, the Chief Justice at the U.S. Supreme Court will typically farm it out and and tries to keep, I think, workload pretty well balanced so nobody's getting too much or too little, that sort of thing.
Your tenure on the Supreme Court, and probably for a while now, y'all haven't had many divisive decisions, though. I mean, it's like been almost unanimous because all y'all are pretty much philosophically conservative, whereas the U.S. Supreme Court is 6-3 or 5-4 or whatever it is.
Right.
There are 9 justices on our Supreme Court.
That's correct.
Just like the U.S. Supreme Court. But all of y'all are all Republicans and all conservative.
Yeah.
Not appointed by a Democratic liberal president one or conservative Republican president next.
That's right.
So most of y'all's decisions have not been that controversial.
Yeah,
or have not any controversy among the court, I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, by and large, the cases that are decided by the Alabama Supreme Court tend to have uniformity or near uniformity.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because the legal issues are pretty straightforward. And actually, it's a misnomer about the U.S. Supreme Court too. I mean, everybody focuses on those 5-4 because those are your hot button cases.
Yeah.
But if you zoomed out and looked at all their cases, a lot of them are unanimous up there too because the questions are so straightforward.
Jay, let's transfer to your running for the Attorney General. And you are the leading candidate and Republican candidate and the most high-profile candidate in that race and the favorite. How did you come to the decision to leave the Supreme Court to be Attorney General? That was a tough decision, was it not?
Yeah.
But you were decisive about it. Once you decided you were going to do it, you never changed your mind.
Yeah. Well, the short answer is I feel called to do it. But there was a process for me. I really enjoyed being at the court. Love what I got to do. Love my colleagues. The last couple of years, I've had conversations with people in the business community and here in Montgomery about potentially leaving the court to go run for Attorney General because Steve Marshall is termed out and can't run again.
Right.
And but there's been some complexity in that decision because under our judicial ethics rules in Alabama, if you're a judge and you're going to run for a non-judicial seat, you have to leave the bench, which means you hang up the robe, you don't get a paycheck. And for me, with 2 kids in college, 2 kids in high school,
That's why it had to
a
be a you
it's a
lost
big
your
decision.
job.
But I'll tell you what really clinched it for me, Steve. It was seeing Trump get reelected and recognizing that we've really shifted into a new moment here in America. And as a conservative, as a Republican, I think the window of opportunity to do really great conservative things, it's as wide as it's ever been. And I want to be a part of that. And layering on top of that with Coach Tuberville coming to the Capitol, to the governor's mansion, I think there's a lot of opportunity for us here in Alabama to do great conservative things. And it would be inappropriate for me as a judge to be participating in policy like
Right.
that, but I want to be part of helping to create that conservative change here in Alabama, in America, and I feel called to. I feel so called to it. I took the leap of faith and
You
left
left
the
your
bench.
job.
Yeah,
As you mentioned, folks,
Yeah.
he had to leave his job on the Supreme Court to run it without knowing he was going to be Attorney General. But you have the background perfectly for it. I mean, you've been in, like you say, you can be out front
Yeah.
with your beliefs and with the conservative agenda and take that. The one thing I'll say is that I know our current Attorney General's probably done a good job, but he seems to be, in some cases, I'm not saying wasting state resources, but what I call barking at the moon. I mean, I don't know if it's really to Alabama's benefit to have an Attorney General that files a suit, amicus brief, in this knowing full well that the Biden administration doesn't care what the Attorney General of Alabama thinks. They assume they're conservative. The Attorney General of Alabama or Oklahoma or any southern Republican state. I'm going to say, take a jab at one of your opponents in this regard. One of your opponents has taken an abnormal amount of money from some right-wing group, which is probably the majority of her campaign, the vast majority of all of her campaign money has come from some right-wing group. And I perceive they want her to do, if they can buy this Attorney General's race for her, is to do those bark at the moon suits with that guy Leo, who is in charge of her money, has given her all that money. I don't understand why he thinks that's so important to have an Attorney General favorable to you. I mean, I didn't mean that's sort of doing that. I'm trying to wonder what your thoughts are on that.
Well, my focus is on Alabama.
That's what I'm thinking.
My focus is on Alabama. I'll tell you, in this campaign, I've been running now for 3 months. I'm focused right here. 95% of the dollars I've raised so far have been from right here in Alabama. 99.9% of the dollars that I raised in July and August are from right here in Alabama. And my focus as Attorney General is going to be on our state and on our communities and making sure that we're keeping the people of our state safe. A number of us are fortunate that we get to live in safe communities, but man, we got some real hot spots in Alabama right now. And Birmingham, Montgomery.
That's what I was getting around to saying.
Yes.
You've got an opportunity.
We've got to have a lot more focus and engagement, in my view, from the Attorney General's office and state government on making sure that we're solving the problem conclusively of violent crime.
That is exactly what the Alabama Attorney General should do. They should try to prosecute crime in Alabama.
Yeah.
And all your campaign money is coming from Alabama, from businesses, communities, and individuals. But that's the job of Attorney General of Alabama, is to take care of crime in Alabama.
Yeah, that's going to be my principal focus. Of course, we're going to have to back up President Trump on things along the way. I'm a believer in him. I'm a believer in his agenda, his mandate. We want to be there right alongside him. And, of course, Coach Tuberville coming to the governor's mansion to do good things. But I want to make sure we're focusing on keeping our people safe. We've just come off this weekend with the lady from the vet school over in Auburn who was tragically murdered. I mean, it's crazy to me that these things are happening in our communities, and we've got to put an end to it.
Jay, it all seems to be drug related too. It didn't say about the murders, but all the crime and the gang violence here in Montgomery and downtown Birmingham, it's got to be all drug related. What is your Attorney General can you do to thwart gang wars? Is that your opinion too? That a lot of it's just all dealing in drugs with each other and shooting each other, and people get caught in the middle. And all that?
It's almost always an element of that. I think making sure, again, I think it's really primarily a function of focus and engagement, making sure that we're working with the men and women of local law enforcement who do a great job and are out there fighting on the front lines every day. And to the extent it's interstate or even transnational, working with our federal partners as well to make sure, you know, for example, these multinational cartels, that we're heading them off to.
Well, how can you do that from the state level? I mean, like,
Yeah.
say we're gonna focus, we're gonna have a drug. Well, I tell you one thing they've done, that thing they put together here in Montgomery
Yeah.
with Aaliyah and everything, it's really dropped the crime here.
Yeah, it really has. I give a lot of credit to the governor and Attorney General Marshall and several other people who are Hal Taylor at Aaliyah,
Him especially.
Sheriff Cunningham here in Montgomery.
There, exactly.
Yeah, there's been really great. I think they've built a good model here that I would like to see replicated in Birmingham and replicated in some other areas of our state. But you know, like what we're seeing with President Trump right now in D.C.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to have you got to have a surge of presence, just boots on the ground to help deter crime and to catch it when it occurs, and then get the guys and lock them up.
Well, I think you and Coach Tubville will work closer together too. He said that as much. He said, and he'd enjoy having an experienced prosecuting mind, Attorney General with you. He'll probably make some joke about you being so tall and playing basketball. Every time he sees me, make some comment about I don't write anything good about him, but I do. You know, so, but he's going to be a good governor, I think. I think he'll enjoy working with him. I really think he's not a micromanager. And you've got a pretty big staff over there, Attorney General, don't you?
Yeah, you do. I think Coach Tubble and I can have a very fruitful partnership for the people of our state.
I think so,
I
too.
think we've got a common policy vision and, you know, making sure we're, I mean, pardon the pun, but doing the blocking and tackling to take care of the people of our state.
I think so, too. Well, folks, I appreciate you. Our time's up. It goes by in a hurry, doesn't it, Jay?
It does. Always great to be with you, Steve.
Thank you. Our guest tonight, folks, has been my friend Jay Mitchell, who is the leading candidate for Attorney General in the Republican primary, former state Supreme Court judge, and very well qualified for Attorney General of Alabama. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Hope you tune again next week for Alabama Politics. Thank y'all.
This has been Alabama Politics with Steve Flowers, a production of Troy University Television. Opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Troy University, its administration, faculty, staff, or students.